Morning, everybody. It is October 15th, homecoming weekend at Virginia Tech. Tomorrow is the alumni event. So rather than do a lab report this week, I was going to do both, and then it was just too much. So I thought I'd show you what the slides are. Thanks everybody for contributing the slides. That was really helpful and great. So let's take a look. It's not totally done. I want to try to add something for Johanna's work. And I've got a couple of hiccups with the videos, but otherwise it's mostly working. So it'll run in kiosk mode. Each one of these is about 10 seconds unless there's an animation on it. So if you spot any spelling errors or anything too out of place, let me know.
Good looking drone. Got the nice one, not like one of the 3D printed all the different colors. Is that on a car or is this?
It's on a car, yeah.
Okay.
So that's a video hiccup that I'll have to fix. I'm not sure. It's something with the slide timing and then the video timing. I'll fix that.
I thought that was the same shirt. I did this one.
Oh yeah, did you guys get your shirts?
Yes.
You got your shirts?
Yeah.
Great. So the idea is I'll have a TV about half of this size, maybe like I think it's like a 30-inch or 32-inch or something.
Oh, that one has a remote.
Yeah, that's my drone, and that's Andrea Saavedra. We were down in Mexico. That's the study that we just published at the beginning of this year.
One?
What's that?
Is this the lens?
Yeah, this is Jim Young's work.
Oh, this looks so cool. This animation.
There's another hiccup with the video animation. That's Jack.
Is that the beach?
That's the beach.
No beach. The one.
This is Sam's work.
Oh, I remember this one. The tornado damage where you're trying to like have it identify where it had been on its own.
Yeah. That just would look even better if it had like an overlay of the like a shapefile with where the damage was, but I don't think I'll have time for that. Another video hiccup. I don't know why these things do that. It's really weird. I assume that we'll go to the next slide even with that error. Colleen's, I guess I got a hiccup there that I'll have to fix. So Colleen, I combined your stuff onto one slide.
Sounds good. I was trying to figure out how to do that.
Now, the way that everybody did it was perfect. Like having more material than necessary was exactly the thing to do. That made my job very, very easy. So thanks everybody for doing that. This is Gunjan's work. Gunjan may also give me an animation of, but that one was a little short. And then I added the video. I think this is really great.
We saw this in action yesterday.
Another video hiccup. I think this one will go. Yeah. Then Chandler, same thing. I had to combine a couple of things, but does this look all right to you? Great. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
I love that the ghost is in there.
Yeah.
I had to keep it.
I was like, what is that?
I tried to split them about, hey, Vincent, a couple, sprinkle the animations throughout so that, some are regular pictures. And then this one, I wanted to turn the audio off, which it looks like it is again. The audio is totally there, so I don't know why it doesn't play on this computer, but it plays at home when I play it. It's really weird. But anyway. I probably won't have the audio on at the event because it's going to be noisy and people are going to be doing stuff. But at least then we can sort of we'll have that printed map and then we can talk about it. Sort of see how it works. Another video hiccup. And then back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Gunjan, I'll paste a link to this later so you can take, or the PowerPoint's actually.
No, I actually looked through
Okay.
it in the morning, so I'm good.
Great. If you still have time to capture some video from the thermal camera, I'll throw that on a slide. But if you run out of time, then we've got plenty.
Okay.
If you run out of time, it's okay. No big deal. I'm sure you got a lot on your plate. So that's it from me. Any feedback, comments?
Looks great.
Yeah.
Cool,
it's really
thanks.
good.
Thanks everybody for helping put this together. I'm excited. Should be a good time. So awesome. So then that's it for me. You said you've got a thing at 11, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
pass the baton to you first. And then Andrew has always got a thing, so then Andrew can go. But with me not kind of going on for half an hour, we've got plenty of time.
It looked like the PowerPoint is loaded in the regular thing.
Yeah, it finally did. Let me look.
I am at the bottom.
Yep.
So I have a pretty quick one. This week I did Wong Park stuff, which I talked about the other day, but we did 3 models and pics. They turned out really rough. There's a lot of ghosting. So we went through and changed a lot of the settings and some parameters. And then I made 3 new models using those settings, and it was much better, which is demonstrated. This is like the first one. At the end, there's 3 little tendrils, and then this one is a lot better. So excellent stuff there. We also had, there was some camera corrections. I guess this is still one of the old pictures that survived the purge. Did literature reviews this week. It's been fun, some cool stuff. I've been reading some funny ones too. Like they always make up fun acronyms. Like yesterday in the lab, I was doing one, and they called it. They were doing like instead of testing drones, we need to test like a different method for doing archaeological sites, and they called it ultra low altitude something something, and it was pole photogrammetry. It was just so everywhere it'd be ultra low altitude positional system something something.
Nice.
Yeah, so
You'll have to send me that article.
it's pretty funny. So I've just been going through these, and then we tried to put the Hexing drone together some more, but
Yeah, how did we end up?
well, no further. I pulled it out, looked at the instructions, and this was it. The only other instruction was put the propellers on. So I
Okay.
started putting them on, but then took them off because Andrew said like to test them, you don't want to have the propellers on.
That's true. Yeah.
So I guess we're just waiting to put the like complex, I think I said fancy parts. Yeah, we're waiting to put the fancy parts on here.
Okay.
Do you have the flight or I wasn't sure how to connect.
Yeah, so those will connect with ESCs. Those should be in the box.
Okay.
They'll have to be
How to get to-
soldered.
Yeah,
Um,
do you have one?
I do. I can bring that in.
I have
Um,
one too.
So yeah, do you feel comfortable soldering it? It's not that.
Yeah, I've
it's-
done that.
It's just a typical soldering job. The only thing is that it's relatively high stakes because it's going to be flying. So
Yeah.
Wanna make sure you get it right, but otherwise it's fine. And then I ordered the parts for, let's see, I ordered a GPS, I ordered a radio connection, I ordered the flight controller. I thought about transplanting some stuff around and I decided not to. So we're just gonna get some different parts instead of, with the new requirements for having like, what is it, like ADB something, the auto locating when it's in the air, so that it like can communicate its position to nearby aircraft and it will like actually dodge them. That's a new requirement and it doesn't apply until I think next year for us, but we might as well build it with compliance in mind since,
Right.
you know, we'll need it eventually. Well, cool. Well, great. Do you guys want to bring that to the, like even as is, we could
Yeah.
bring it in.
It looks
as
pretty
kind of
cool.
a fun prop and it's, you know, safe for people to handle, like
Right.
they're not gonna break anything, so.
These big old legs makes it look kind of, looks like a big spider, something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
yeah.
All right, we'll bring it.
I guess I forgot to put this in. Ash and I also did some 3D printing yesterday.
Okay.
We both did small little reptiles, I guess. He did a turtle and I did a dinosaur. Yeah, it was great. Turned out fantastic, no errors.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that was fun. And I dropped it and it didn't chip. So
that's good.
the PLA is tested.
It looks like we're starting to get pretty low and it looks like maybe some of that filament is cracking in the tube. Is that true?
Oh, it was quite low when we did
it
ours.
fine?
Yes.
Is it cracked?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. We'll probably just throw that away then. When the
Why?
filament,
Why does it crack?
so it's very, what is it?
It's dry.
Well, it's actually, it absorbs the water from the air. And then when that happens, it gets brittle.
Oh.
It's not dry.
You can dry them. I will probably buy like a filament dehydrator. It's just basically a thing with a tiny little heater and a fan and you put it in there and you basically cook the water back out of it again. Because it's sort of a perennial problem. So I'll probably get to that next week, but anytime you see that in the tube, by the time like it will continue to draw the filament down, but once it reaches that break, then it won't continue loading. So you have to throw basically anything that's cracked away, which is fine because it's just like pennies instead of a deal. But
So why does it not crack on the spool itself, or does it?
well, partly it's the tension, so it's all looped, and especially when you get down to the bottom, the coils are tighter, so it tends to crack more often. As long as it's on the coil, then there's no pressure on it. But once you feed it through that tube, then what was a curved thing is now a straight thing, and it tends to snap in there.
All right. Well, that's pretty much all I have.
Cool. On the, I'm sure Andrea will talk a little bit about this too, but the Wong Park stuff that we did on Friday last week, I got about halfway through some of that analysis and some of that wound up in the Slack channel. But
Yeah.
because I didn't finish it, that did happen, and you'll probably talk about that. So, yeah, let's do Andrew because she's got time.
It'll be fixed.
Really like excited to like, have this drone finished because I want to put that one.
Yeah, me too.
Surprised that release is not as advanced, because I know Dr. Pingo mentioned that it'd be able to.
Yeah, no, we actually checked. So it's actually not heavy. It looks
It's
bigger.
so much bigger, but it's not as heavy.
Yeah, it's not as heavy.
Gunjan, while you're, one thing you can do to facilitate that is we might need a gimbal for this. So if you can see what gimbals people like for this camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you mentioned about that. I'm sorry, forgot it.
That's right.
Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna be talking about what we did on Friday at Long Park with Joanna, Dr. Pingle, photogrammetry, RTT stuff, we used RS2, M2, the GoPro for the time-lapse video, and Frisbee's, the ground control points. So this is where it is, I just overviewed because I didn't really know where it was. And this is what we roughly walked based off of, was her name Sarah? Or
Grace.
Grace. That's what she did last time, so we were comparing it, which is pretty long actually. So we walked down on the right side and then turned around and walked on the right side going back to get both sides of the Yeah, so I took some of your pictures on
Great. Yeah, I'm glad you did.
So these are like the frisbees, and we would take like the RS2 on the 2 meter pole, I think.
Mhm.
And we'd put them in the middle of each of these points to get their locations and GPS. And there was 8 of them, and so I created. This is on the ReachView app. And so I created 2 projects. We did it in the beginning and then at the end to click the points. And then this is just example online because I didn't get a screenshot of it. This is what it kind of looks like as you're going. You would, of course, this would be like 2 meters for the pole. It would have the recordings, and all you do is just press the measure. And then we set it to like a minute. It should be a minute long, and you just wait there, hold it as steady as you can, and then it'll record the point. And so these are what, this is the first one, the second one, they should be the same. But these are where each of the first few points were placed, and you're really surprised, they're pretty good. 'Cause
Yeah.
We were just like dropping them as we walked down. The path, so that was really cool.
Did you like finish with the 8th one at the end of the trail?
Yeah, yeah, it was really good. Yeah, we didn't have to move any of them. It's cool. Okay, so this is like the log. Is this the logging data I got from the app for each run? So or for each one. So were you able to use this?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it worked great.
They should be roughly the same. And there's more. I think they have like the base information as well.
That was really nice that was on there because
Yeah,
that
I was surprised.
I think that's new in ReachView 3. I don't think they did that in ReachView 2. And it's really nice because then if you need to make a correction, then you're like,
Yeah.
well, actually my base wasn't there, it was here.
Yeah.
You just add the numbers. Like you don't have to like dig around for like where it was. So
Yeah, I don't think that one here, but yeah, it was. And then yeah, I took this picture because I thought it was really cool to see it all put together. Oh yeah. So,
on that last one, because I didn't get a chance to talk about this, but that's turned out like super well. So this was, so the RTK GPS, ties the track, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that like there isn't going to be warpage, right? So there's like, sometimes these things are curvature and weird. So that snapped to the GCPs really well, and then the trail reconstruction went well. But then I tried to pay really, really close attention to the like the different datums. So this is one of the frustrating parts, is like at this level, like, when you're doing regular GIS work, like the difference between like WGS 84 and NAT 83 is really small. It doesn't matter for most of what you do. When you get down to this level, when it does, being off by a meter or two would make this totally not line up. Like the whole trail is like a meter wide. So like you'd be off by, 1 or 2 of those. So I'm super thrilled that it's like completely overlaid on there, and makes me really excited to I want to do the exterior of Wallace Hall and see if we can get that to snap to the LiDAR data, which I think would be great for like the indoor geography stuff, because now everything will just like smush together without having to like manually go in there and make
Tight in.
adjustments. Yeah.
I guess if we fix the problem of our thermal image, it's the problem we're having with the geolocation, and if we can calibrate it, we can also put it onto the LiDAR data as well.
Right.
We can try that at least.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great. Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you had these slides on there.
Yeah,
This
that was
is
really
good.
cool. I really liked being out there.
I'm hoping to do, I would like to send somebody out there to get centerline data on it, or maybe even the edge of the path.
Mhm.
So if you feel like taking a field trip back out there.
Yeah.
I really like that visualization as well, just like wanted to like it overlaid onto just like the LiDAR data. I think it looks really cool.
Thanks.
I feel like you could do something like that to like show off like a hiking trail, like for example.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just like as the visualization and stuff, like this is the path you'll be walking
Oh,
on.
yeah.
Like you could kind of have that in color within like the rest of the thing in black and white.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think it looks cool.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I like the way this turned out. Cool. Addison?
Sure, I have a relatively short one this week. It wasn't long, so, but hopefully that video will work. If not, it's okay because it's the same thing that we saw in
Okay.
changes then. Play. Let's see. So this week my time was mostly kind of consumed up by the POSIX stuff. So my biggest goal for this week was just trying to implement the base map onto the POSIX and get that fully up and running with 2D. So I ended up accomplishing that. So for the base map, the first things that the base map had to be created. So a couple Fridays ago, Dr. Pingle took images using the GoPro on the stick right there of the labyrinth with 78 images, and then those were stitched together in Pix4D and we made a 3D model with them. So I took the point cloud generated from that and exported it to Cloud Compare, and then essentially just took a top-down photo on Cloud Compare, and I exported that into an image file. So that's what this was. And again, the labyrinth turned out pretty well, just the table itself in the middle was kind of missing. So we'll probably end up trying again in the future. I'll probably try to make another one and see if we can put things on the table and get those just to get the kind of stand out a little bit better. But this was good as the first start. So the next thing is that I had to import the base map into POSIX. Unfortunately, POSIX's creator controller, which is the name of like the application, is pretty straightforward in terms of actually importing the base map. Like once you have the map itself, and once you do that, it kind of just throws it on here. So it throws it on here randomly, and then it's basically now my job to figure out where it's going to go with here. So what I did is effectively taking, for example, these points right here. Like for example, I know that this 68, 64 is, I think, that one in the top corner up there. And I know that that is, for example, this corner of the map. So I can take this corner of the map, I place down a little anchor point on the base map itself, and then enter the coordinates for this anchor. So that then this point gets immediately clicked on to right here. And then I can do the same with this corner right here, which is in this little spot right here. So then I say this spot right here on the base map is exactly right here in coordinates. And then it's able to snap it on so that so that's in, this point is right here and this point is right here, and it just snaps and rotates the base map.
Can you manually adjust it as well? Like on the slide 3, could you like just stretch it and then just like rotate it manually and just kind of like ballpark
Yes.
it? Neat.
I thought using the coordinates would be pretty, and that was pretty easy too, just because I had like the coordinates pulled up at the same time. So I could just say like this one was 186, 2362, and then it just popped that little corner right where it needed to go.
These things don't have, the anchors don't have batteries, right? They have to be powered all the time,
They're all powered in all the time.
but they also probably,
There are a couple different plug options.
yeah, I think we might have mentioned this, but I think for, I don't know what it is that I was doing, but I have a bunch of these like 9-volt things that plug into things like that. So we might be able to just like plug in 9-volt batteries to those things and then they would just run.
That would probably be enough to at least keep them running for
A
a while.
while for like a test, right? Like if
Yeah.
we wanted to like deploy them on the second floor, if we didn't want to hunt around for.
I would assume something like that wouldn't take too much power to run for
Probably
a
not.
while.
All right.
Yeah, the cords are pretty long, so I can plug them into that outlet or that outlet. I haven't had too much of a problem in this room, at least, with that yet. So then here it is all snapped on in a large thing, and this should hopefully, what comes as a control clip. I guess I have to send it to myself. a surprise. Let's try that again. Hopefully it will. Why are you making me do this again? Alright, now it should go. Please. It doesn't
I
like
always
this.
think that screen is really weird. Verify it's you, like,
Continue.
yeah, that's me.
Like I don't have to like do anything, no sort of authentication, just that.
Yeah. Do you promise it's you?
So here I am moving around.
Stealing is bad, don't do it.
This is fantastic.
And the accuracy holds up really well.
Yeah.
when it's moving, like it kind of skips around a little bit here and there, but I'm also, it's attached to my computer right now. So that's from me holding my computer and walking around with that, like I'm trying to keep it steady.
Does it have to be attached to your computer?
No, so one of them does. There's a second tag, and that's one of my other goals for next week. Is there is a like a LiPo battery that I can charge up and then plug the second tag into that. And then I can walk around with the battery and the tag.
Okay.
And then this one would then be plugged into my computer. That would be probably sitting right here. That could also serve as a fit anchor as necessary.
So let's see, what else? Can those what capacity do you know of that those things can like spit out their coordinates via like a serial port or anything? Like, is there any way to like pull that information out of the unit itself? It's relaying everything back to the cloud, right? And this is essentially,
Yeah. I don't know.
okay,
I will,
keep an eye out for that as well.
yeah, I'll have to look into that as well. So then further kind of next steps, looking further into 3D visualization. So I didn't see anything or I haven't seen any examples, at least on POSIX, where they actually have like a 3D visualization being done. That doesn't mean I can't at least try to do it. So I'm gonna look into maybe importing one of the 3D meshes or 3D point cloud itself and seeing if I can get that to load into the Creative Controller and then have the 3D visualization so I can see it in multi-dimensions there. And then also other base maps, like for example, this floor plan, which is pretty small, but I think you could still use it for maybe getting into this room here and then plus the geography graduate student lab if I wanted to do multiple rooms at once. Having it see me like go through out of this room and back into this room. So I think this would be pretty good for like a larger scale type of thing. And then also using some of the other imagery, lighter imagery things that we've taken at Wallace Hall and trying to get those as like turn those into base maps as well. So yeah, my next steps are expanding, see if I can expand the radius, maybe try it out in the geography room, the graduate room, and then getting more base maps for Wallace. So those are my goals for next week. Work on the 3D visualizations and then continue and maybe even finish the hex syndrome and get the rest of the parts out there. See if we can get that up and running as well.
There was another sort of like Internet of Things, kind of a tracking system that I sent you in Slack.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, maybe a week ago. Maybe take a look into that and just read the article and poke around for half an hour and just read about it.
Okay.
I think that the basic gist of how this stuff works, it's pretty pricey for what it is, which is sort of fine for prototyping. But you know, for actual deployment, $150 per anchor or whatever it costs. That's pretty expensive when you start thinking about like what it would take to get this deployed in even just Wallace Hall, you know. So yeah, I'm curious in terms of, it sounded like that is more like on the order of
It seemed
like a USB dongle for $20 or something.
yeah, it
you know?
seemed a lot cheaper.
So and then also, is that 150 correct for the anchors ballpark?
I think
Was
it
it
anchors 175
175?
and a tag is 2 something. Not
Okay.
cheap, yeah.
I forget, but when we looked up the plans that one time, they said something, it was like yeah, this plan can cover unlimited area. But we were like looking at it, we were like, does that mean you just get unlimited tags? And it was like, no, you get like 6. So I don't know what they're doing.
The unlimited area.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
That
know.
doesn't make
If like
sense.
you can scale it, I don't know. I'll probably get 2 more. And then at least it'll be easy. We can keep these 4 intact for testing and maybe we can go down to 3. Seems like it would probably be enough for this room. And then try to get like 2 more out there. And then eventually it would be really neat to get this like in like maybe the 4 big corners of the big loop of Wallace and see if we can really extend the thing out. So
I'll have to look into the like software itself and see how many anchors it can like keep track of once as well.
I think it's a lot.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, look into it, but I think it's probably in the order of hundreds. Cool. Well, thank you. This is great. I'm that's mission accomplished. I really wanted to see
Nice,
that overlaid on a base map. So good work.
Thank you.
Brendan?
at 10:37.
So first things first, the proposal writing is still going, especially the background section. So I was supposed to finish it by Thursday, but like I still have two more questions left to answer. So hopefully I'll be finishing this by this weekend, this Sunday. Let's see how it goes. But so far, like structure wise, it seems like I'm on the right track, because like the thing I was trying to frame it, it's kind of in its way, and you need to give an expert look into that, like whether I'm on the right track or not. But it seems like the way we designed the research problem and designed the solutions as well, so it's kind of like aligning to that one. So hopefully it's it's good enough.
Great.
That's it. Okay, so yeah, so this is the experiment with the FLIR camera display. So we connected this camera with the TV there, and you can see the results. So it was really exciting to see, like,
Yeah, it was really fun to see that.
yeah. Chandler was here. Thanks, Chandler, for the photo.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we will be displaying, so we will be giving a demonstration of this on the day after tomorrow. Sorry, tomorrow, I guess. Yeah, sorry, tomorrow on the homecoming event. So I guess the spectators will love it as well. And then I tried to experiment with the 3D reconstruction. So this on the left side, you can see it's in front of the Wallace Hall, and this is the atrium. So we're kind of like joking around, like you can see the one person is sitting here as like illuminating kind of thing. So kind of thinking like use it as a COVID detector, or maybe the pokey plague detector. Yeah.
Looks artistic.
Yeah, it looks
Making a
really
social
artistic.
commentary about like isolation.
Yeah.
Like the interesting thing is like in here it looks, yeah, it more looks like an RGB with a sepia tone, but in here it looks like, okay, so this might be the, yeah, it was kind of interesting. So it was more interesting to see when I ran the 3D reconstruction. So the thing is, like when I was running it previously, so it was like 2 separate images. One was the visual camera RGB, the other one was the TIFF, the photothermal one. But this time there was an option in the app where I could actually take the images in radiometric JPEG. And when I ran it with Pix4D, it actually converted, like it segregated the single file type into 2 file types. Like one was visible, one was the infrared TIFF. So I was a bit confused, like I haven't seen this kind of thing, and there was also like very few discussions in the forums. So I decided to run 2 models. The first one was only with the TIFF files, and the second one was like with combining both of these things, like with the visible one and also the IR ones. So, and I also like corrected the camera models, created manual type ones, and I connected the GPS with this thing, but somehow the GPS with the camera was not working. So I still need to figure that out. So the first model that I ran with the TIFF files, it did not run. You can see it's like, so basically I actually took the images of the outside of Wallace Hall. So I tried to like make a 3D model of that, but it did not run. So this is the second one without the manual type ones, and this is the second model again with the manual type one. So you can see the image I actually took, like all the windows in there outside Wallace Hall. So it did run perfectly, but the problem was the output from the visible camera ran perfectly, but the ones from the thermal camera, it did not run. So the thing is, like, it was always saying that like there was like not enough geolocated images. So the thing is, like, so when we were like running the models from the images from the Enterprise Duo, the DJI Enterprise Duo camera, so it was like it was a thermal sensor. It has a thermal sensor, but it was not a radiometric one. So, but it was geolocated. So we solved that problem, reconstruction problem, when we applied the alternative calibration method. But we tried to do that, but this alternative calibration won't work without the geolocation. So we need to fix the GPS in the camera and then like capture the images again and run it. I hope that will work. So let's see how it goes. So this is the visual camera model parameter in FLIR cameras. So because like the Pix4D can't detect it detects the camera name, like, okay, so this is the FLIR Duo Pro R, but it does it do not capture the camera parameter. So yeah, it's there. So for future references. So yeah, so also Dr. Pingle introduced me to two platforms. So one part of my study is like the running the thermal models, like high resolution 3D thermal models. The another part of my study will be to like understanding the perception, like how people are perceiving these thermal models. So to run that, so we are so Dr. Pingle introduced me to this platform, that's PsychoPy. So I saw some of the examples in there. So psychologists, visual artists, even sociologists are using that. So it's kind of very interesting. Oh, computer vision scientists are also using that. So it's, and like I saw that like good tutorials are available, forums are also active. So I guess, yeah, it should be manageable. Great. Yeah, it should be manageable. And this is another one, Amazon Mechanical Turk. So these are kind of like we can use this platform to conduct mass study if we want to go online, or there is another option that there's this graduate listserv where this kind of surveys are like circulated where you can get a compensation, like you can get $10 for attending a survey. So it depends on the funding.
I did that one.
Yeah, I also did a couple of them as well. Got Amazon gift cards and cash as well. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So yeah. So the goals for the next week is finish the background section by Sunday, definitely. I need to fix the GPS issue in the FLIR camera and collect radiometric images with it and run Pix4D simulation. I need to practice flight in the drone park. So if any of you want to tag along with me this week, so yeah, so I'll just maybe, okay, I'll just like put it in the general forum in Slack, and like if anybody interested, you can join me.
It's probably been a while. I don't know when the last time the Mavic has been flown.
Okay.
It's probably been a while. So make sure the batteries are charged before you
Okay.
go. I think, yeah, just we'll go over the whole kit, make sure everything that takes a charge has been, like the controller, I think needs to be charged because it has a screen.
Okay.
So yeah, just go over that stuff really.
I'll look into that. And also, like in the last lab meeting, I was talking about like collecting the Google Earth like satellite image, Landsat satellite image using Google Earth Engine. So there was like some problem with that. So I already talked with Dr. Vijay, so he gave me an overview.
Great.
And but like I actually wrote, okay, so I will just like run the code again and like you need to look into that. So he agreed. So maybe this week, or I'll just email him. He agreed to help me with that.
Great.
So, yeah. So
Alright,
yeah,
sounds
that's
good.
all for me.
Thanks, Gretchen. Yeah, that's a good week.
It is 10:45.
All right,
I'm gonna head out.
okay.
Nice seeing everybody.
Yeah, we'll see you
Yeah.
tomorrow. So I
See you
will
tomorrow.
send more information about the stuff in Slack,
Mhm.
but the gist is, if we can maybe meet at 10 tomorrow.
10 and
Is there a room or?
It's gonna be, it's over at the Alumni Center. I'll forward an email that has the exact location. It sounds like there is gonna be parking available if you're like working at the event, so you show up and it's gonna be like parking at the inn, like the Virginia Tech
I'll
Inn.
probably just walk.
Okay.
yeah, I'll
Um,
drive.
And so the gist is you'll just sort of say like, I'm here to work at this event, like, where can I park? And they'll
Mhm.
direct you towards it.
Cool. 10
So
a.m.
it shouldn't be as complicated as I thought. I had heard there wasn't gonna be any parking at all, which was gonna be like, well, how can I get all this stuff over there?
Yeah. So now we're not having to pass like, you'll load the car, come drop stuff off, then take the car.
Right, we should be able to just meet. I'll have stuff in
In
the
the
car.
car, yeah.
But if I can't carry it all, then, you know, either I'll see you guys in the parking lot or I'll
Right.
find you guys at the table or
All right.
we'll work it out.
I'll see
Thanks.
everybody 10 a.m.
And then I guess wear the lab shirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
I'm washing
great.
it right now. So.
Great.
See you. See you.
Who's going next?
Colleen?
I don't really have a presentation this week because what I've been working on is writing, and so I've been trying to write. I finally found I finally found my research books, and so I found some information in them that have been helpful. So I'm gonna put that into my thesis later today. But I've just, aside from making the slides, I've been writing.
Okay, all right, understandable. Chandler? Oh, we probably need to enable screen sharing.
I mean, you can pull it up on your screen. It either works for me.
See anything from here?
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Can I start screen share while the other participant is sharing?
Oh, that's right, there we go. All right, how about now?
Yeah, so this week I had a couple of conclusive kind of areas to what I've been working on. Here were my goals from last week. I was working on cleaning up some cloud compare meshes, finally figuring out how to get the Blender extrusion right, exploring VR softwares and how to be point clouds, continuing to 3D print, as well as looking up some landscape architecture, literature, and YouTube videos based on LiDAR and photogrammetry. So the Blender extrusion, I finally figured this out. Dr. Pingla and I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I've been working with a design club and they needed some site analysis. So I downloaded the LiDAR data for Narrows, Virginia. It's like a little park about 30 minutes from here. This actually, I ran the class simulation on this data set and got a good mesh. So I put that into Blender and tried a couple of different extrusion methods, one of which being a solidify modifier, which created this weird like bed sheet skirt. I think that's just because it wasn't like the vertexes weren't aligned. So that's why they kind of started crisscrossing and getting all nasty. But I tried a different method, which was just a simple extrusion where I just tabbed into edit mode. There's a simple extrusion tool, and then you scale it down however much you want on the Z axis. Something to know is that there's two modes, there's normals and there's XYZ. Use XYZ. It'll go down on the Z axis, and then you just click S to scale, Z for the Z axis, and then 0 to flatten it. And it will create this really nice sort of extension, and it would be really good for a 3D print. So wait, I had another, oh yeah, different slide. So what's next? Now that I've got the mesh data in there, the next step would be the tree aspect. So this was the mesh that I imported from Cloud Compare, but there's all this extra data that needs to be imported or something needs to be done with it. So that's going to be my next step, importing it, maybe not as an STL, but some other file format. There's a lot of add-ons to Blender, such as like a point cloud visualizer, which I'm still trying to figure out, that imports polyfiles. I know there's an LAS one that I haven't tried out, so I'm going to give that a shot. Overall, just really trying to create something that you can work with and visualize and make look real pretty. So, and like just for reference, like this is a STL mesh that I made of UCB, like the trees in this model versus the trees in this model. You know, like they just the normal one looks different. So I'm trying to get to this rather than that. 3D printing, I have been using the touch terrain models. I did one this week of the Annapolis watershed. The black filament wasn't really working. Dr. Ping and I talked about that. I'm going to switch to white for topographic prints from now on. And just for a reference, I took a touch terrain model of that same STL mesh from before, and I just compared them. So, you know, LiDAR data, good.
Yeah, so the right one is the LiDAR data, and left one is like the.
Yeah, this is the touch terrain that, yeah, I was really shocked by the difference.
Yeah. Wow.
Something else I've been looking into is Vectorworks. Gunjan mentioned I should look into BIM, so I did. Vectorworks came up, and I've heard that name before. We had a presentation on it last semester, and I thought it was really interesting because it's a software that can do the full landscape architecture design process, from site analysis to design to rendering to presentation, like documentation. It can do the whole process, and it includes VR capabilities, point cloud visualization, and photogrammetry visualization. So I'm going to be, when I'm not working in the other softwares, I'm going to try to be working on this, because something that I'm really curious about is taking the designs, taking the renderings, and putting them into VR, which I'll talk about shortly. So I gave it a shot with that same data set from Narrows. This is what it looked like. It was just all dark. So I'm going to be messing around with the tools, trying to figure out how to get it to look normal. And like this was the Vectorworks demonstration. They took a scan of the Philadelphia Music Hall, I believe, and it came out really good. And then they were able to create a full 3D model from it that was completely geometrically accurate. So I thought that was really cool. And I know that I can take this data and turn it into like a base map where I can determine like sunshade analysis, irrigation, all that jazz. So I'm gonna be trying that when I'm not working on other things. And so yeah, these are that was everything. Those are my goals. Explore the VR capabilities of Blender, Cloud Compare, and Vectorworks. Continue to work on the trees and continue to do some more research.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Chandler. Well, lots of progress this week. This is fun. And I have to say, putting together the kind of the what we do in the lab slide was also fun to get a chance to see like everything we all do, like all put together in single slides. So always a pleasure. So thanks, everybody. We'll have a good weekend. It's homecoming weekend, so I hope you guys get to have a good time, and we'll see you next week.